welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 230. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who told me he won the Leslie Nielsen Award at school. I said, what's that? He said, it's a big building with kids in it.
I don't know why. I thought that was going to go down like a Shirley whatever. I didn't. I should have seen that coming from a mile away, but I didn't. That absolutely got me. Good
What a
God.
cracking joke.
That is amazing. What a joke.
Surely, can you believe it? It's only Dan. Ooh.
Just came here to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
We are. That's an airplane joke if no one else understands. You never know. I don't know the demographic.
It's a 50-year-old film by this point, I think.
That's true. I actually watched it about 7 or 8 months ago. Not for the first time ever, obviously, but
no, God.
I think we talked about it, or I talked about it with someone, and I was like, I really fancy watching that. Incredibly hard film to get hold of.
Well, I think so. I was at a friend's house, and his wife, for whatever reason, hates that film. And I think it's because it's one of those where it's just sort of like, it's a classic comedy. Everyone loves airplanes. It's funny and blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, no, I don't care for it, actually.
Oh, is she a hipster for comedy films?
No, she's an idiot. She's not. She's not. I shouldn't say that. But
Is she like Hot Shots?
Good question, actually. I don't know. Maybe that's one to bring into the mix. But like, whenever I'm over, and they're like, "Oh, we'll watch a film tonight," so we'll watch. I don't know. Like, it depends really. But for some reason, as soon as we found out that, or as soon as they told me that she doesn't like Airplane, I was like, well, that's the only thing we could possibly watch tonight. And it's me and my mate, and we're laughing at this fucking film because it is
a
funny.
Phenomenal film.
It's just a funny film. It's silly, stupid comedy. And she hated it. She just either she just doesn't like it, or it just doesn't tickle her in the right way.
But it's just
Simple
funny.
as.
I genuinely, except for people that haven't seen it, I don't know anyone that doesn't like Aeroplane. It's so stupid. Even down to the co-pilot being the inflatable pilot, and it's just such a silly film. I think it's one of his best. I genuinely do. And now I'm scared to look on Rotten Tomatoes because it's probably got 12% or something stupid.
Nah,
like that.
it's gonna have been propped up by
Time.
age and time for sure.
It's got to be in the high 80s. It has to be.
I'm going to say I reckon it's because it's one of those things that people aren't going to go back to it and now decide that they want to make a review of it.
I mean,
they'll just be like, oh yeah, I watched it. It's hilarious. I'm going to say 93. myself.
I'm going to say 87. If there even is one.
Well, Callum. 97
Ooh,
tomato meter.
Absolutely.
89 audience.
Oh, we were both close on each score, though.
Close to the audience, yeah. But 97.
Well deserved.
Sounds about right to me.
You
Sounds
need to
about right.
screenshot that and
Absolutely.
show that to her. Go.
You're wrong. Not me.
It is a good film, though. I will say.
Hot Shots is probably a good call.
Hot Shots is a really good film, especially if she likes Top Gun or Rambo.
Oh, yeah. Classic chick flicks, yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's one of these people who go, this is a classic comedy film. She's like, I got a classic comedy film for you. I don't know, Shallow Hal. And you go, what? But that's what I mean. Like, what does she consider a classic comedy? American Pie?
No.
The Parent Trap?
I think it's called The Nativity, I think. It's like
absolutely fuck off. That's got James Corden in it for starters.
It doesn't, does it?
I'm pretty sure it does. It's got Martin Freeman in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's Martin Freeman in it.
I'm sure James Corden's in it.
No, there's some idiot dude who's like his teacher's assistant or whatever.
It's a shit film.
It is a shit film. It is a shit film. And National Lampoon's Christmas.
Oh my fucking God. But that's just a poor man's Leslie Nielsen movie.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I watched the both of them with them, and I was just like, I mean, maybe I was sort of like, huh.
There's a few money moments in National Lampoon, but
again, it would have been like, oh yeah, that's kind of a funny sort of thing. But that would have been it. And I was just, I mean, I told her obviously because I was just like,
obviously it's you, but
that was not good.
a lot of the like the bloopers we don't use for the spoilers for, like, you know, a bit of behind the scenes. The joke we choose at the beginning isn't just the only joke we have. We go through,
as if you're just pulling these out of his arse every time.
There's a vigorous vetting process we go through. But I reckon most of the ones we don't use are funnier than the nativity.
I mean, other than like Martin Freeman just getting more and more irritated, and obviously the only thing that was making my mate laugh was that I was irritated about as much as Martin Freeman was. So like, the more he was just like, "Why are you singing? Why are you doing this?" It was just, it was me in the corner as well, just going, "Why
are they doing this?"
Yeah, I'm just getting more and more confused and angry with the whole thing.
I didn't like it. I've seen it once. I think Zoe had it on one Christmas or something like that. I'll never ever watch it again. It's an awful shit film.
No, I the fact that they made like 4 others of him or something.
Really?
Yeah, Martin Freeman's not in any of them, obviously, because now he's like, I'm doing The Hobbit and Avengers.
I'm in the MCU. I don't need anyone.
Yeah, but they've got like the Prime Minister or something to come to, and I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it.
Awful.
But did I show you that? I don't know if I must have told you about it because I was obsessed with it. Christmas like a couple of years ago, but it was like a home movie. It's called like
Of You.
No, it was like I can't remember what it's called. I wish I'd looked it up, but this isn't a Christmas podcast, so I don't know the fuck we're talking about this. But it was a home movie that was made by like a pastor. It's America, obviously. His wife and his kids, and it's like it's their sort of like Christmas movie, like a nativity, like it's a Christmas film, but it's shot and filmed and written by them, and it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, in terms of, to put this on Amazon Prime, which is where I watched it, I was like, sorry, I'm paying a membership, and this is the kind of shit that you got on it. But I had to show it to, I mean, I can't remember how I found it. I think I was with the same friend, to be fair. And we were just like, oh my God, what the hell is this? And we watched it and we were just like, this is unbelievable. Like, every joke is terrible. Like, you couldn't write a worse film, in my opinion, unless you wrote with children. And then I had to come home the same night and show my housemate it. I sat him and his girlfriend down. I was like, you've got to watch this because I can't believe it. I just can't believe how terrible this is. I mean, they loved it because they were just like honestly about.
But did they love it because of your reaction?
No. I mean, they were watching it like they had the same reaction of just like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
But he texted me like 2 years later at Christmas time saying, what was that terrible? If I've still got that text message, I'm going to be able to find you the name of it because I had to look it up.
I'm more annoyed because when you started talking about it, because I have no clue what it is, but when you started talking about it, I thought it was an animation because I didn't register that pasta is like a priest, and I thought it was a piece of pasta. And then the more the story went on, I was like, wait.
I have just got past the same, like another part in this text chain where I can't remember if I told you this or I've mentioned this on the podcast, but I was going to meet him for lunch, and he was like, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And I was like, "Tell you what, I'll read you the text chain again." No one wants to know this, but sure. So this is in May last year, and he said, "Oh, sorry, Dan, been crap at messaging. You about weekend plans, Sunday lunch, any preference on restaurant?" I went back and said, "It's fine, dude. No, as long as it's in Manchester, no preference at all."
Oh, I know where this is going. I remember.
So he said, "Edinburgh Castle at 12 for a roast it is then." And I went, "Delicious." And then on Sunday, he said, "You're heading over?" And I said, "Hey man, I was just about to message you. What's the plan?" And he said, "We're sat at the table in Edinburgh Castle." And I went, "Wait, what?" I thought that was a joke. Oh my fucking God, there's a place in Manchester called Edinburgh Castle. I didn't know that. I thought you were joking it. As I said, as long as it's local. So that's how fucking stupid I am.
Because you sent me a screenshot of that exact conversation.
Yep.
Like,
I couldn't believe it. I was like just waking up in that as well. And I was like, oh, he hasn't come back to me about what we're doing for lunch.
That's when I realised that your clock's like set at a bizarre time. Because I looked at like what time the messages were sent and stuff. And yeah, I was just like, wait, what? I'm interested
Gotta
now.
be in here somewhere.
I'm interested.
Because I don't honestly, I don't even know if it's on Amazon Prime anymore.
Probably not, like for licensing fees and stuff like that.
I don't know. I think it was some sort of like religious broadcasting deal that they had. Like they'd show these like religious type movies or something. I've just found an app called PureFlix, which is a Christian alternative to Netflix. Thought you'd be interested in case you need to get a fix of poor production values and a wholesome family message.
That doesn't sound great.
I think we're closing in on it, aren't we?
Well, I did a Google search for Amazon Prime past a Christmas movie, and nothing's come up other than Beyond Christmas.
So this is like 2 years afterwards. We said, yo, dude, weird question. What were those truly terrible Christian movies we watched called? The one that's home movie level. I went, oh my God, you mean the best Christmas film of all time, Alone at Christmas. Made by the White family. Also, you can look up Bad Bible and Bigfoot. So they've got a catalogue that's in there. So if you're looking for an interest, you're sick of your Jingle All Your Ways and you're sick of your Miracle on 34th Street for your Christmas films, watch that, because my lord, I guarantee you ain't watched anything like it before unless you help make it.
If you are the White family and you want to come on the podcast and talk about your terrible movies,
I would love to get this guy and I'd just be like, how dare you?
I've watched this movie 3 times.
I've had to watch this movie. I've told so many people about this thing. Like, how dare you put this out and expect people to pay for it?
Do you think he sat there?
I'm going to Google this right now. I'm going to find this fucking thing. I'm going to send you a trailer to Bible and Bigfoots and whatever it was.
That movie was actually put on like 7 years prior. No one streamed it. No one's downloaded it. Nothing. And then that one Christmas, it was watched 3 or 4 times, and I was just like, holy shit, it's happening. It's all coming from the same IP address.
It is no longer a part of Amazon Prime, I'm afraid. You'd have to pay $9.99 to rent it, Callum.
$9.99. That's more than I paid to watch Scott Pilgrim.
Unbelievable. And there it is, The Badge, The Bible, and Bigfoot. And that one is on Prime. So maybe we do a Badge, Bible, and Bigfoot watch along.
I mean, you're not really the right person to ask, but what's the dealio with like religious people believing in Bigfoot? Because they don't believe like evolution and stuff. So what are the odds that they believe that there's a fictitious monster running around?
I haven't seen the Badge, Bible, and Bigfoot, but I'm assuming that it's so.
Maybe
I kind of don't want to say anything in case people go on and actually watch Alone at Christmas. Please don't pay for it. Please. But if you happen across it... as if that's going to be on any illegal site anywhere. You crazy. But, like, it's so... Callum, I want you to watch this film so badly because... I have to talk to people about it.
So maybe this Christmas we remember... have a look, and then it's on Prime at Christmas, but the rest of the year you have to pay for it. Because why would you watch it outside of Christmas time?
I mean, I'm struggling to figure out why you'd watch it at Christmas time.
Well, I mean, you've watched it 3 times, so that's a
but it was free then, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's on YouTube or something, I don't know. But yeah, that was... How the fuck have we ended up talking about that stupid film again?
I don't know, because there's something far better that we can talk about that's just started.
Yeah, we're fucking planning on talking about.
Obviously, we're talking about HBO. And
this is why I shouldn't drink while we're doing these.
What are you drinking?
Magners. on offer Magners as well. So it was covered in sellotape, which I had to remove, just so it didn't crinkle down the microphone. You're welcome, listeners.
Top tip.
I also ate a shit donut as well, so I'm raring.
What's a shit donut? Just a bad
Not
donut.
Very good. Yeah, not very good donut.
It's like, what's this gooey filling?
There was a filling. It was not good.
Nah.
Like it was like you pretended it was like a triple chocolate donut. So it was like donut dough, donut topping.
Donut topping.
I have been drinking too much already, haven't I? Chocolate and then chocolate on the top and then chocolate like through the middle as well.
Hey, already.
It theoretically perfect. Great little mixture of chocolates and donuts.
Seems a lot.
Execution was poor on every front.
Where's it from? You're going to give a bad shout out?
Morrison's next door. Terrible sort of shit out. Not all Morrison's,
Outrageous.
obviously. Just the one that happens to
Morrison's
be next to me.
do really good donuts. Like, just like your bog standard, like, custard, jam, blah, blah.
Well, this is only a little local one, so I've got a feeling that like all the off-run that they've got from one of the main ones, like all the
Potentially,
fresh
yeah.
ones, they get the ones that, you know, they've been kicked off the day before, maybe.
Probably. Anyway.
It was on offer, so...
Anyway, you fucking drunkard. Last of Us, HBO's and Naughty Dog's and Sony's venture into the game adaptation department. I've only watched the first episode. You've watched both, the 1 and 2, but we're only going to discuss episode 1 because of that reason. And spoilies if you haven't watched it yet or you still haven't finished the game, whatever.
I mean, to be fair, one or the other at this point, it'll be fine.
Yeah. But yeah, first things first, what do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you indifferent?
I'm kind of split on it, if I'm honest. Firstly, it's great. It's great. However, because it is, and I haven't played Last of Us since. So I've got it on the PS3. I got it when it came out on the PS3, as we've obviously talked about before. I've completed it probably twice, maybe 3 times back in the day.
Yeah,
However, since that point, I've never played it again. I haven't played The Last of Us 2 either. I haven't played the DLC for the first one. So when it comes out on PC, that's going to be the first time I play it again in
A long
6 years, maybe, something
And
like
the
that.
rest.
A long time.
And the rest. We've had an entire
However-
generation of a PS4 since then.
Yeah, but I've only been living here for about 10 years, and I know for a fact that I got it when I was living here. So it would have been about 6 or 7 years.
You sure?
Must have been like 20.
I'm going to have a look.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be fair. But that's
2013,
that was-
Dan.
yeah, okay, yeah. So it is 10 years old then. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I haven't played it again in about 9 years, say. And I tell you what, mate. Other than obviously the very interesting, I thought, and like kind of well put together, sort of like showing of Sarah and building up who Sarah is. After that, it is almost identical
Some of the shots are like
to what
just
I
ripped
remember.
straight out of it, aren't they?
In the car, looking around, and there's shit going on all over the place, and there's ambulances, and there's people coming out of the cinema and stuff, and I was just like, this is just the game, isn't it? Which, I mean, firstly, a testament to pulling from your source material.
Yeah.
If you wanted to capture what that kind of felt like when you're watching those cutscenes and when you're playing it yourself, it's that. However, if you're not going to do anything different, then why are you doing it? That's the only sort of thing where I'm just like, yeah, you're absolutely crushing it. Like, this is so good, but why are you doing it if it's not different in any way? Again, there's probably things that they're going to tweak and drag out a little bit more, like Sarah's kind of story and that kind of stuff. Sure, build on that. I kind of don't want to say it because I know what it'd be like if it was this.
The other way around.
I'd rather they focus on something else. Like, in that same kind of, like, it's the same stuff that's expanding outwards. Same story, like, going on in the background. But it's not Joel, it's not Ellie, it's not Tess, it's not any of that.
I still think they should have done the Fireflies.
That would make more sense. I mean, the way that it's going, mate, that is going to be a spin-off.
Potentially, yeah.
Gotta be, right? There's no way they're not going to try and milk this for all it's worth. But my question to you is quite simple, Callum. Has the reign of the terrible video game adaptation come to an end?
Well, basing it off one episode couldn't possibly
I don't mean just
say, but
I don't mean just this, but
we are.
I rewatched Mortal Kombat the other day, like the new Mortal Kombat. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I did.
I
was watching that, I was like, this is a fucking blast, mate. The Sonic 2 was real good, which is obviously not a video game adaptation necessarily, but obviously it's taking beats from it still. Again, it's pulling from the same source material.
Halo.
And that was really good. I only watched one of that as well,
Halo's
to be
not
fair,
good.
so I can't really judge. But I'm going to say probably not.
I mean, it's not awful, but it's not good.
But there's still, like, you know, your Resident Evils and your Raccoon Cities and stuff like that, which are kind of like trying to balance the scales a little bit, maybe. But
Doing a poor job.
this gives me hope for, okay, well, if you can do The Last of Us, and again, the biggest thing, again, we had with Uncharted, that was a terrible one. But the reason that we said, don't make an Uncharted movie is because
Indiana
it is a
Jones.
movie. It's its own movie. You just remake it, and then if you're just remaking it, what's the point?
That's the same with this, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the reason that this is so good and the reason why Uncharted is so bad is that Sony kind of just handed the reins over and just let the studio do what the fuck they wanted. Whereas this, Neil Druckmann's fully hands-on, and The Last of Us is already structured exactly the same as a movie. So it's done. Everything's in place. But more to your point, what's the fucking point? For people like us who have played it multiple times and we know it inside out, we've got nothing to gain from watching it. And I know there is, I don't know what they are because I didn't look, but I saw an article last week of the X number of changes between the Last of Us game and the TV show. So I know that they have changed some things. But this, up to now, basing it purely off one episode, this seems to be the interest in Last of Us, but you've never played the game. Just watch this. Watch this
instead.
Yeah, that's how it feels to me, and I think it's very good, and I think it's very tastefully shot. Like I say, some of the shots are just ripped straight from the game. The bit in the car I really enjoyed, like camera style wise, and the only thing that I recall them changing is when you're on that stretch of road, a plane crashes in the field in the game. But you don't see that in this. But
I think that's more dramatic.
Yeah,
like, it just blast in the street right in front of him, behind him. Sorry,
because I'm pretty sure that's a car that hits him in the game. I genuinely can't remember. It's been a good while since I played it, but
well, to be fair, it's kind of timed presumably on purpose, but it means that I can none of this is a surprise to me. Like Sarah was shot, and I didn't go, "Oh my god." I can't believe it. They killed off the daughter so quickly. Like I've already had that moment 10 years ago, right? There's nothing new that they're going to drop on us. It's not like The Boys where they went, we just kind of just run with it and just taking it in a slightly different way, but it's working on its own.
Yeah.
And what I think Fallout potentially could be is maybe what I'm thinking. But to be fair though, if they'd have done that and they said, "Oh, it's the Last of Us universe," but then it's not about Ellie and Joel, then I'd be like, what's the fucking point then?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch some goober running around and getting eaten by mushrooms.
As a studio, it's one that you can't really win because we're quite understanding of it, and we can understand some of the reasoning for it. You will have some people that have just gone, well, I may as well just play the fucking game then because it's just the game. And then if they didn't do that, I go, well, why isn't it the game? It's like,
you can't win.
No.
But I'd say that as this is obviously the way that it's going, and from the second episode, it seems to be again they're getting to areas, they're doing things. And I'm just like, I remember all of this. Like again, that's not a bad thing. No. It's just like, it's
been a long time since you played
captured what I felt, and again, it feels like I'm sure that if you shot like side by side of it, sure there'd be certain things that aren't exactly the same, but I'm just sort of like, it's impressive that you've put this much detail into it. But then on the flip side of it, and potentially this is something we could revert back to when Fallout comes out, that's going to be the same kind of thing that I'm thinking that maybe they could have done with this, where they go, we've got the lore, we've got this expansive universe, and yet none of the game stuff is going to be in it. It's going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be someone who's come from a vault. I don't know how you do it without it being stupid, unless it's a crazy, wacky show that's monsters and mutants and God knows what else.
I think it's going to be a bit bonkers, like in the same sense that like you have like the instructional videos with the Vault Boy. I think it's going to be that style of like kind of like the Outer Worlds. It's probably a better example than Fallout, where it's funny but informative. So you have got these big stupid rockets and the thingy boys, the mini nukes. I forgot what they're called. Fat Man, sorry.
Fat Man. Fat Boy.
I'm sure it's Fat Man. Could be Fat Boy. Them anyway. And super mutants and fucking barflies and fucking Mothmen, and it would be silly to not make it a little bit zany. Maybe have a little slight horror element to it, but
Because you could play it super serious, couldn't you? Like this absolutely depressing, awful, everything is terrible, and his super mutants and a death claw to fuck you up at the same time. Or you do play it silly and a bit daft.
Yeah, go the boys.
Like that's again, it's over violent, and it's but that's the thing. Like I think that would be a good testament to like, you don't focus on something that's exactly the source material. You just go the wider universe.
Yeah,
we love that, and it's not essential that it's about one character from like one of the games because they've got their own unique.
It's you though, isn't
journey
it?
And
the
exactly,
main
but that's the thing. It's
you.
Yeah, it's for the most part, for most of them anyway. It's like an unvoiced, unmasked. Like it's just a avatar.
Yeah.
And you're wandering around doing stuff. It's not really until 4 that you kind of like had a person that you were controlling. Yeah. That's the way I felt anyway. But to have like this, I'm now that I've seen like the first couple of episodes. I think even by the end of the first one, I was like, okay, they're just going to just do as much of the first act that they can for this season, or they're going to do the whole game in the season. I don't know. I know already. The attention to detail is amazing. The acting, I kind of wasn't sold on Ellie initially until she started. Like again, it's in it more in the second episode, but like her mannerisms and stuff and the way that she talks,
she sounds a lot like her.
Oh,
she like vocally, she sounds very similar.
Right? Yeah, it's like she's really making an effort to try and like channel this character, like the exact same character through, but. She seems like on edge and really awful, and like she's sweary, and like it seems to encapsulate it very well. Yeah. And I kind of see because I know that you had a bit of a sort of like, can you get past the Pedro Pascal face to get Joel? And I tell you what, I get that, I do, but there were certain points where I was just like, oh, that is kind of Joel, isn't it? It's like it's just where he's just sort of like. He's really keen to he'll just be like, I'll just shoot you. I'll just shoot you. Like, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, he just doesn't care about anything anymore. There's just some really interesting, and I genuinely can't wait to see their like chemistry kind of like through the rest of this, because I think it could just be. I mean, it's almost like a remake of like a film from the 60s or something like that, where they just updated everything, but they kept everything exactly the same. Like it's again. There's not going to be any surprise if you've played it. There's no, from what I can see anyway. There's not going to be any surprises in it, but potentially it could work the other way around. So if you're not a gamer and you watch that and you go, "This is a game. Like this is based on a game," that would go, "Well, if this is what the game's like, I want to play that. That sounds kind of interesting. Like just be involved in it." And then when you play it, you're like, oh my god, this is exactly the same.
It's the same as the TV show.
Yeah, like that would be like, oh my god, is this what gaming is now? It's TV shows and movies just that you can move around in. Yes, it is. That is what it's like.
I think that's the biggest problem though, and I think the biggest issue we have because we'd obviously do a tremendous job, but the biggest problem people face when they are doing these like picking what games shall we choose to make into a TV show or to make into a movie, they're picking the wrong things. And like I still stand by, like I think Last of Us up to now is excellent, and I think it's only going to get better, and it definitely deserves the score that it's got on Rotten Tomatoes. However, I still think just recreating the game is not lazy, because obviously a lot of effort's gone into it, but I would have preferred a story about the Fireflies that was going on that you don't find out in the games and stuff like that. But then equally, I don't want a Tomb Raider movie because the new games, it's already cinematic. I don't want an Uncharted movie because the games are cinematic and we've got Indiana Jones. And they could just go, let's do Mass Effect, let's do fucking, I don't know, I mean like the new Super Mario movie. Why is it taking this long to do a CGI Mario movie when
like cost effective wise, and like Nintendo
I know it's a Nintendo issue, but it's all just use the fucking model from Super Mario Galaxy. Everything's already in place for them to do it, and it's taken a long time to do so. But
it's probably because now the video game industry is one of, if not the biggest in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's a multi hundreds of billions of dollars a year industry.
Loot boxes.
However, the problem with it is, as soon as you start making inferior content for like an absolute ravenous pack of fucking morons that we all are, everyone will pick it apart immediately.
Yeah.
So it's got to be exact, or it's got to be so different. It's like it's the Gotham thing again.
Yeah.
Why would you make it if you don't do Batman? But that's the thing. I hated that show because they took that key element out of it, and that's the most interesting element of it. Whereas with something like Fallout, again, in my opinion, the person that you play isn't the most interesting aspect of Boston or Appalachia or whatever. It's all the insane shit. It's all the Vault-Tec stuff. It's the Brotherhood of Steel. It's the railroad. Like, all of that is way more interesting than you as an individual and what you're doing. Because your thing is just singular. Find your son. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is just mental. Build a gigantic robot. Cool. Let's do that. Like, you telling me you're not going to make a Fallout show without Liberty Prime in it? Mate.
I won't watch it if they don't. But the also there's a Liberty Prime poster available on the website that you can go and purchase at podcastversusplay.com/store.
It's a good
It's very good.
It is good.
But I think the reason Fallout will work though is because whilst most people's first foray into Fallout would have been Fallout 3 and New Vegas and then 4 and then 76, etc. But everyone's experience is different. Whilst the start of the game and when it comes up to the credits is the same, everyone's everyone's journey, will be different.
Yeah, everyone I've ever spoken to who's played Fallout, like mainly sort of 3 and 4, where it's a bit more expansive and a bit more, it's your own sort of playground. Everyone has some mental story for something that's happened in it.
Yeah, and I think that's why it works, because they'll never be able to make the game that you played because they don't know how you did it. Like, I remember Dogmeat on 3. I didn't know if he died, he never came back, and he got killed. So I restarted an earlier save, which was like a day or so prior. Like, that was as far back as I could go, where I hadn't got him. Found him and then told him to wait, like the little apartment you get when you get to Megaton.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Diamond City. That's 4. In Megaton
City. Just making then it's like wait, and then just left him there for the rest of the game.
I'll come back and visit you, but you're not coming out.
Every time I went back, I'd go and see him and stuff, but it was just like you can't come out because you'll die. But I imagine other people did a similar thing, but that wasn't the intended goal of Dogmeat. And I think this will work as long as they do it well. Amazon's got a pretty good track record with taking not necessarily video games, but other media, so Lord of the Rings books, The Boys comics and stuff. And Preacher, another fucking excellent choice. Even The Tick, which I thought was very good. Got cancelled, boo his, but it was again another good show, and I think they'll do Fallout justice. But I think the reason it will work
I'm really hoping
is for that they haven't got to go, here's the story. They can go, you got to find your wife was murdered and you got to find your kid, but that's the only thing that's has to be in there if they do follow on. Not necessarily that.
I disagree.
No, but I'm saying if they went, we're going to base it on Fallout 4. That's all they'd have to include, and then the entire journey, whether it's 6 seasons or whatever, they can do whatever the fuck they want because it doesn't have to follow any specific. All it has to do is start the same and finish the same, and that's it.
Well, because of all the weird Vault-Tec stuff as well, you could even go, well, we're not sure if we're going to get a second season out of this, so you find your son, and they go, you're renewed, and they go, right, in the second season, it wasn't actually your son, it was a clone, it was a robot, it was just wishy-washy, it was a plant that turns into a...
What?
You could literally do anything, that's the beauty of it. It is it's like the weirdest science fiction TV show, where it's just sort of
it's a mix of everything.
Kinda, yeah, but it's like you're a vault dweller. You've left the vault. Why? any number of reasons. Everyone hates you. You poison the water supply. All the rad roaches have gone insane. You were meant to be let out because it was a Vault-Tec experiment.
Yeah.
Like, anything. And then all you have to do to please people like me is you just mention, oh, yeah, so we're going to head up to Vault 101. And you're like, I know that place.
Yeah, then what's going to be in there?
Yep.
Here's some power
You
armor.
mentioned Megaton.
Here's this,
you mentioned... Yeah, the Brotherhood. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a billion references that they can make. So instead of it making like a specific story arc that they follow, they go, we'll just do whatever the fuck we want, and we'll give you so many Easter eggs and references that you'll be making videos about it for fucking years, and then we'll do another season.
What if they do it like we're doing all this speculation about the things that it could be and the things that we want, and then it turns out it's lit, the whole season is just in the vault, and it's like when you're doing the GOAT exams.
Got to get your BB gun. You got to go and shoot the rad roaches. Your dad's giving you a lecture. Shut up, Liam Neeson. Get him back.
Might be.
That'd be a good
might
get.
be that. We don't know.
I mean, they got Walter Goggins, man. That's a pretty good. Yeah. That's a solid get for a start.
I honestly think it'll be a maybe not the best. It's a hard game, like because up to now, Last of Us is the best game adaptation into a media by far.
Until potentially we see the Mario one.
Yeah.
Mainly because that would be, it's not based on a thing. Because The Last of Us, again, for what it is, a copy of the game, it's perfect. Yeah. Like, I haven't seen a single issue that I've got with it at all, other than the fact that they made it.
Yeah.
Made it.
I'm still on that. I'm still on that party myself.
Yeah. But with like the Mario one, and the same with Sonic, you'd be like, okay, well, this doesn't work as like a movie on its own. Like, what are you going to do with this to make it entertaining and make it the reason for it to exist? Yeah. And like the Mario one looks like it could be quite
Mario
good.
Looks genuinely very good. Genuinely does.
But it's the ones where like Uncharted and Last of Us and Tomb Raider, where it's just like, you've already got your story there. As long as you don't deviate from that, you should be fine. And that potentially is the reason why Uncharted is not very good and The Last of Us is very good. Because one's incredibly faithful and the other one just went, should we just use some of the same people? And that's it. Like characters, and that's it.
That's what they did with Tomb Raider, though. Like, the Tomb Raider reboot had a genuinely good story. They decided to just... That
could have been really good.
That could have been The Last of Us. And if they just followed it, shot for shot, everything else. And one of the most... interesting parts of the story, they just went, nah, fuck that. Take that out.
Yeah, no, it's no magic.
It's like, for fuck's sake, it's like it's all they had to do. Same with Assassin's Creed. How the fuck do you fuck Assassin's Creed up? It's already there. I think something's happening with Assassin's Creed, because Disney Plus on Instagram they put a behind the scenes clip of like I forgot what it's called, the thing like the leap of faith.
Leap of faith.
A behind the scenes thing, because they genuinely did it from like a ridiculous height, and this stunt guy did it and everything. I was like, ooh, what's this?
Like into hay? It works.
Not into hay. He did it from however high this building was onto like a crash mat thing.
Right,
and then I assume, by the power of movie magic, they then did another shot of him falling into hay from a obviously smaller distance that they put together. But anyway, he genuinely did the leap of faith.
But who owns the rights to?
Well, this is what Netflix had snatched up the rights to do an Assassin's Creed series, and then I saw this the other day, and I was like, have Disney now got the rights because nothing happened with it?
Well, it's Ubisoft, and didn't Disney make that werewolf thing? Didn't they do that?
No, I think that was Paramount. I think the murder mystery one.
Yeah, I never actually watched it.
It's a fun film. I enjoyed it. Massively predictable as far as like movie murder mysteries go, but it was an enjoyable film. And for an Ubisoft first movie thing, very good. But yeah, and then they like played like a slight clip of the Assassin's Creed film after it. I was like, that's just the fucking film from like fucking 8 years ago, or possibly even longer. So I assume Disney Plus have now got the rights to like Assassin's Creed live action stuff. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, but again though, like, because it's the same sort of thing of like I feel that you could do with Fallout. Although Fallout seems like it would be, there's more room in there for like there'll be like one main arc, but then there'll be There'll be the side
quests.
missions. There'll be 50 different stories and people trapped in fridges and Nuka-Cola and whatever. But then with something like Assassin's Creed, you could do every episode. It could be like, now you're a pirate.
Yeah.
Now you're in Italy. Now you're doing this. Now you're doing it. Like you could just, and then you're in the modern day. And you could literally just episode to episode could be something completely different. And Mass Effect, I feel like, could be the same kind of thing. Where it's just like each episode is a different. Like again, I don't think you could do Shepard if you're doing Mass Effect.
Because again, it's everyone's different. Your
well, there's that, but like the overall thing is it's saving the galaxy.
Yeah, it's Star
and like
Wars.
it's just sort of like okay. Yeah, and like that's fine, but then that would need to be like it'd be like a Lord of the Rings like epic movie sort of thing to get to its conclusion. Where I'd much rather watch like a show about Mass Effect, where it's like it's the guy, the fanboy, who keeps following him around. Like he pops up in every game. It's like, oh my god, sign an autograph, and you can smack him in the face or whatever. Like that sort of thing. There's like again, there's so much stuff that you could do in that whole universe.
Mass Effect's
and again,
a glorious game, really is.
But like, think of all the stuff that they've done with like sort of like modern special effects and like how good and how reasonably cheap it is now to kind of like do space and ships and monsters and whatever. And like prosthetics are incredible these days. Like you could do that out the fucking arse. Like you could rinse a Mass Effect show and never even mention Shepard. You could like Andromeda. They go, it's 3,000 years in the future.
Problems there with that.
That was more gameplay than anything, I think.
I think we would face the same thing where if we go, here's a Mass Effect TV show. It'd have to be a TV show, not a movie, but then there's no Shepard. There's going to be so many people kicking off. Because it's like, well, fuck Shepard. It's not Mass Effect without Shepard. And blah, 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 blah. I fully agree. I think it'd be easier and smarter to deviate and have a different, like, this isn't the Normandy, this is a different ship and this is a different cast and different crew. And I think that'd be the smartest way to do it. But you're still 100% going to have people kicking off because it isn't Commander Shepard. There is no Miranda.
Yeah.
You haven't got.
But then you're like, okay, well, how do we condense like 150 hours worth of story and action?
Garrus.
How do we do all of that in like a movie? It's impossible. That you'd miss everything, which would annoy people even more. But then if you said, right, we're going to have to make a TV show out of this and we'll do the entirety of 1 to 3. So that means that we have to have a show that's going to last for 8 seasons. Yeah. And there's obviously no guarantee they get that, which means that you could get to the point where you get into a major critical point and they go, Nick,
cancelled.
Tough.
Yeah.
Cancelled.
No. Nothing worse.
But like
that.
if you made a film and you just sort of made it about like Commander Shepard before he becomes Commander Shepard, and then you turn that into a show, and then it's him, doing adventures or whatever. So you can make his sort of like like when he was like a soldier or he was a biotic or whatever. Make that. So you're making like your movie / TV canonical Shepard. Like this is his backstory. This is how he got to be Shepard. Like he got that reputation before he became like the Spectre, like the first human Spectre.
Yeah.
So you have him get to that point. You could even do that and just leave it there and just say, now he's a Spectre, and we'll see what the reception is. If people are interested, maybe we'll do another one where he is, or maybe we'll do another TV show or something like that. Because I think the love is still there. Like I don't think Andromeda
I would say
fucked it up too badly.
No, it's not that. I liked Andromeda, but I didn't play it until after it was fixed.
But I got it on day one, mate. I didn't have any problems with it. It's just that it wasn't Mass Effect.
Have you seen the trailer for this Rebel Moon? I just had to Google it because I forgot what it was called. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon.
No.
It's basically Zack Snyder's Star Wars. It's only like a 14-second teaser trailer, but it looks pretty interesting. Got a big cast in there as well. Anthony Hopkins, Sophia Boutella, Charlie Hunnam, and more. The film's a sci-fi
and more.
The film is a sci-fi twist on 7 samurai following desperate civilians on a peaceful colony who seek out the warriors from a nearby planet to save them from the armies of a tyrannical regent.
I don't know, that already sounds a bit too much.
But visually, from the 14-15 seconds that's been released, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but just give me Dune, thank you. That'll do.
Dune's quite good.
I need this as well. The second part of that's going to be sick.
But the new one's very good. The new one's very good. visually good.
Yeah,
as well.
I really like the new one. I did mean on watching the 84 one or whatever it was. Like, I did plan on watching that before I watched New June. Noon. But yeah, I never got around to it. And I really dig this like part one of this new one, so I'm really looking forward to the second. But it does make me think that maybe I should just watch that one. And I mean, but then does it spoil anything that's going to come in the second part? You know what I mean?
I shouldn't think so, because it might do. Yeah, I don't know enough about Doom to comment. I'll be totally honest.
I'm more interested in watching second part of June with no spoilers than I am in watching this one, just on the off chance that I don't.
Yeah, it might spoil it, and you might just go, "Fuck me, this is shit." It just ruins it on all fucking levels.
Yeah, possibly. Which I'd really rather not do if that's the case.
But no, I'm gonna get Last of Us watched. Maybe tonight, potentially, on this Tuesday evening when we're recording this podcast. And then I'll let you know my thoughts on the second episode. But I was very tempted to start playing The Last of Us all over again on PS5, but I'm pretty sure there are bits like you say that you don't remember, and I'm pretty sure there's bits I don't remember, so it doesn't make sense. I may as well play it after the show's finished.
Well, it's either the 1st or the 3rd of March. I think it's the 1st of March that it comes out on PC. I don't know how many episodes are in this season, but I'm hoping that it's finished by the time the game comes out.
Probably like 8, I would assume.
Yeah, is it 8 weeks? Maybe. Yeah, it would cross over a bit. I'll get it, obviously, and then watch the show and then go and play it.
Yeah, I'd play it after you finish the.
Because again, it's not a new GTA. It's not something that I've got to play the second. I've got it.
Yeah.
I just haven't played it in however.
I was thinking, I had it on PS3, I had it on PS4, got it on PS5. I'll get it for fucking PC because the one I've got on PS5 isn't the remaster. It isn't the remake. It's the remaster that I've got. I'll probably get the remake for PC.
Do you know if like with Spider-Man that had like all the DLC that came out with it?
This will have Left Behind.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do with all of these that they're bringing to PC now. Like any of the relevant
I mean, there isn't any for
DLC.
Last of Us 2 as of yet, but the Last of Us...
It's not going to be out on PC for a while anyway.
No. It'll be a few years before Last of Us 2's out, but Left Behind's not too bad. And it's not a spoiler, but until I played it, I'd never noticed in The Last of Us, the first game, there isn't ever a time where you encounter infected and humans at the same time, but there is in the DLC. So you like it when you encounter humans, you're fighting humans. When you encounter infected, you're fighting infected. But in Left Behind, there's a couple of bits where you have both, and if you're smart, so if you throw a bottle, it'll get the attention of them and get the attention of them, and then they'll start fighting each other as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I'd never noticed it until I played the DLC, and I was like, wait a minute, and then I googled it.
Well, I suppose it's because like they're separated like between stealth sections and action sections.
Yeah. There's reasoning for it, and it doesn't make the game any less good. It's just
I'm so excited to play it again.
I honestly, I was very, very tempted, but then I was like, do I just play the second one because that's got nothing to do with the show?
Yeah, you won't have anything spoiled, presumably.
And the we don't know. They might even finish this season with Last of Us 2 because they didn't know if they're going to get a second season or not. So they just mushed it all into one.
I don't know. I mean, HBO, they kind of like, if they get the go ahead to do a show, it's a long term thing. It's not going to be like one and we'll see how you go.
This had already been greenlit the second season. I guarantee they've done like the pre-screeners, and the general consensus would have been overwhelmingly positive. And they've just gone, yeah, Pedro, you got more money. Oh, something I didn't want to fucking complain about.
Mandalorian 3 trailer?
No, I thought it was a decent trailer, to be honest. I'm glad it's moving away from going a bit more into Mandalore culture again after the last season. But no spores.
I don't think I've seen that either yet. So I think that potentially... See, this is one thing I actually meant to ask you. I was going to ask you off air, like on the radio. But I was going to ask you this before. So, like, the tendrils, like, I don't remember that.
No, I think that's just
is that
visual
like the new
thing.
The new zombie bite thing?
I think it's just to show that there is there's a parasite within them from the fungus and everything else.
A bit of a swamp thingy kind of like. Yeah.
But obviously in the games, when they go into the underground where they have to go up the ladder stuff, they've got to put the gas masks on because of all the spores in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're right up against the one that's on the wall, and you can't get that close because of the spores. Googled it. It's not really a spoiler, but I Googled it, and there's no spores in it at all. It's not an airborne thing because they wanted to separate it from it being a zombie thing. Which is fine. However, cast your mind back, Dan, to when you played The Last of Us. In the first episode, when they're escaping with it, when they said, "Yeah, we'll smuggle it, we'll get her out of here," and they get caught.
Yep.
They're outside in the rain.
Yep.
They're doing the checks.
Yep.
One of the obviously, if I can't actually remember if they scan her in the game, and it goes red, and then Joel takes him out. I genuinely can't remember, but there's something that happens. Later on, she's trying to convince Joel and Tess, I can't get infected. Like this, I've had this bite for fucking weeks now. It's fine. I've not changed. I'm not dying. Everything's all good. And one of the ways she convinces Joel later is by not wearing a mask, and she's breathing it all in.
No, I don't remember that.
But that's in the game. That's what happens in the game, and that's one of the only ways he believes her after. Right.
Well, to be fair, then, I don't want to say anything too much, obviously, but that is addressed in the second one.
Okay. Then I wish I hadn't gone on that tangent now.
why there are no spores, but that sort of like reaffirmation of, actually maybe I trust you a bit more. That they do cover that. But I mean, I don't know if the spores are more sort of like, I mean, it's obviously it's like integral to like how it spreads so quickly or whatever, but is it just more of like a game thing of just sort of like it's another thing to kind of keep you slow and calm, and it's another problem to have to try and deal with, maybe, rather than it's just sort of like, well, if every time they got to move through a fucking building or they got to go through a sewer or over a bridge or whatever, and there's a spore in the way, well, I've got to stop, we've got to mask up again, and we can't talk to each other now because everything sounds like this because everyone's going gas.
That's what Zoe said, because I was whinging about that after we watched the first episode, and Zoe said maybe it's Pedro again. He just doesn't want to wear a mask again, like Mandalorian.
They were just like, hey, you got to put this gas mask. No.
It's see-through. We can still see it, Jude. No, I'm not doing it.
No.
But yeah, that was one of my the biggest deviations away from the game. Realistically, it's just very good. It genuinely is very good. And yeah, Mandalorian 3 trailer. Very much looking forward to that. And that's March. So probably as Last of Us is wrapping up, this will be starting. Busy start of the year for Pedro.
Yeah. Looks like there is, like you say, like more Mando action. The only sort of like dealings I've ever had with Mandalore as like a planet is probably from Knights of the Old Republic, like because you end up with like
Rebels?
Mandalore on your team.
Rebels.
Oh yeah, I suppose like the whole
massive arc in Rebels, and Clone Wars to the same extent, but not as much.
But I think it was just I was just sort of like, oh, maybe can you just hint that Revan's around, or was just a little bit. Well, but we just go, well, he's like a Force ghost.
No, there can't be a Force ghost.
Why?
Only Jedi can be Force ghosts. The Sith can't.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he died a Sith. They died a Sith.
I suppose could do a Vader. Do a Vader.
Or, to be fair, if, again, Knights of the Old Republic lore, which counts for nothing, by the way, as if any of this does, on Korriban, in potentially the first or...
It's the second one.
Potentially the second one. You have to go to, like, the tombs of, like, the old Sith Lords.
Indeed.
And one of them appears as a ghost to you, and you got to fight him.
Yeah.
So, maybe not all the Jedi can be... all the Sith can be Force ghosts, but maybe the real good ones can.
It's not canonical.
Yeah.
It's also like
one of these days we will get some actual. I mean,
That's
if they
what-
got
that's what
right, okay, well,
HK.
we've done Luke, we've got Ahsoka, we've got them. They're going to do their own thing or whatever. Let's bring something else in. Let's get Revan in. Let's get some Revanites
We had
in.
Revan
Some
in the Clone
ancient-
Wars deleted scene.
Yeah, but maybe they were just saving him for something like this, live action, cool stuff.
I mean, we're getting the Knights of the Old Republic era trilogy.
Whenever the fuck that's supposed to be.
I was okay because Rian Johnson's fucking making it, so he can go and ruin another fucking franchise.
Well, no, because I care more about this one than fucking Last Jedi. And I'm not one of the people who fucking hated that movie.
I just don't think he's not the right man for the job, or he's just not. Simple as that. So I'm indifferent because I know I'm not going to like it. I want to, but I know I probably won't, and I'm gutted because like Cotter's probably my favourite Star Wars of like all of them. I think it's the most interesting timeline. The characters are cool. Some of them are just direct rip-offs. I can't remember his name. The pilot of the fucking hell, the ship.
Cartho Nassi.
Yeah. He's just Han Solo.
Of course he is. Like, because you got to have a smuggler, dude.
Yeah, you got your smuggler.
You got to have a smuggler. You got to have a Jedi. You got to have a robot.
Handmaiden, and it's all of the pivotal characters. Like, why can't I think? I can't think of anything today. Who's the Kreia? She's just female Palpatine. So
that is a way more interesting, and like, 'cause you get time with her.
I didn't see it coming.
You learn from her and stuff. No, she just turns out. I was like, oh, by the way, I'm a massive Sith Lord. I'm going to kill you now.
Such a good game. Such a good game.
Yeah.
And I say I'm one of the few that I genuinely prefer the Sith Lords to the first one, bugs and all. But I did like I love the first one, but the second one's definitely my favourite. And that's a point. Where's this PS5 remake we were getting?
Oh, that was only like announced like last year, though.
No, it was announced a couple of years ago. I know there was a problem and it was delayed. I'm pretty sure it was announced in 2020, Dan. I'm going to Google it.
I don't know, mate. It's been a while since I've heard anything about it, if I'm honest. Not to say that it's died, but maybe if they're pushing like Survivor and that kind of stuff. Plus, isn't there another Star Wars like open world RPG that's supposed to be in the works as well?
Potentially, but we've got the Fallen Order sequel before anything else, aren't we?
Oh yeah, but I mean that's out like this year, I think.
21.
2021. Sorry, I'm thinking of 20. It's still 22. Sorry. So yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
No, that's when it was out. No. I wish. Nah, it's going to be like 2030 or something, isn't it? The way it's going.
I mean, they're pumping out more fucking films and shows and cartoons and shit. And
maybe that's what we need.
Experimental.
Maybe we need them to take a punt and make some, like, whether they make a new like a animated show based on the Knights of the Republic universe or a new game.
Oh, fuck that! Make the third one, you bunch of pricks.
No, this is what I'm saying. Maybe this is what we need. Get that steam rolling and get Disney to start fucking bankrolling a proper third game. Anyway, we're going to leave it there because we've gone on long enough. If you want to hear more podcasts where we talk about The Last of Us and we talk about other movies and games and stuff as well, you can go to podcastversusplayer.com. You can also check out reviews, let's plays, game shows. Just put a game show up, Dan, Celebrity Mash. That went up before we started filming this podcast. So
Woohoo.
Go and check that out, youtube.com/podcastversusplayer. Dan, thank you for joining us. And thanks for watching Last of Us so we could talk about it.
Indeed. Make sure everyone is also doing the same thing, because more video game adaptations of things quality this level of, please.
Yes. if you haven't watched it, Last of Us is available in the UK on Sky Atlantic and on HBO Max over in
Now
America.
TV, I think, as well.
Yeah, Now TV is just Sky, like, pick your own pack.
Oh, is that what it is?
Pick your own package. What do you want to watch, kind of deal. But yeah. Over on Sky in the UK and HBO Max in America. Don't know about other countries. It's irrelevant. I don't live in one of them, so.
Jesus. Well, you don't live in America either.
You do. That's why we do it over the internet.
No, I do fucking not.
Right. Bye.